Hi friends, this is Jonathan from this side of Able. Today we are going to talk about smoking cigarettes and the ability to stop. And cigarettes, tobacco has 600 chemicals in them, 7,000 of which manifest after the cigarette is ignited. 70 are carcinogenic or cancer producing. And nicotine is one of the most addictive substances on earth, and that is because nicotine increases the dopamine in our brains, and over time, by smoking more, some people are even susceptible of increasing their dopaminergic receptors, therefore requiring more dopamine to get the same results and feel good. When people eat and gamble, shop, all these things increase our dopamine. So if you want to stop smoking, you have to stop saying I can't stop smoking, because all that's doing is associating smoking with your identity. And even if you do stop, then typically people are going to relapse and begin smoking again. If somebody is an athlete, they're going to associate their identity with being athletic and do whatever it takes to be athletic. So say I'm not a smoker, I don't smoke. The main thing is to set a date 30 days out in the future, within 30 days, saying you're going to stop smoking. And that anticipation and excitement of when that day actually manifests will help push and pull and motivate you to stop. So get rid of all your paraphernalia, the ashtrays, lighters, the cigarette boxes, the cigarettes themselves, of course, any signage, such as on hats, shirts. Get rid of all the reminders of smoking, and ideally stay away from people that smoke. You can't control other people, but you can control your environments for the most part. Ideally, people will respect you, and you can ask them to go outside if your loved one or somebody else smokes. So just try staying away from it. It's easier to avoid temptation than trying to beat it. And yeah, ideally, it's better to not acquire the bad habit in the first place. I know for me, I fought through being nauseous and feeling pukey and everything, because it was kind of the thing to do back when I was a teenager. And I, at the time, could never fathom not smoking. And I would do anything. I was just determined to smoke, because that addiction had me. Instead of me smoking a cigarette, the cigarettes were smoking me. So once I actually had that can-do attitude, saying I'm going to stop smoking, set the date, get rid of all the paraphernalia, change my internal and external environments, then I stopped. So know your triggers, and triggers being such as, there's an acronym HALTS, being hungry, angry, lonely, tired, stressed, sad. If you can minimize these, then you can deal with, say, cravings or coping in a more effective manner, just in life in general. So do your part. You change bad habit with a good habit. So don't start chewing sugary gum and candy, because then that can even develop an addiction. So try to be free and stay away from that. If people work out, then they can actually that'll help to stop smoking incredibly. And people are worried that they're going to gain weight, because when people, and that's true, it's because when people eat, the food increases dopamine to make them feel good. So it's replacing a bad habit with a bad habit. So we want to avoid that. So when we increase our muscle mass, muscle is more dense than fat. So a pound of muscle is weighs a pound, the same as a pound of fat, but it's more dense. And it increases our basal metabolic rate. So our BMR, the metabolism at rest, just shreds fat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So when we add muscle, then we can minimize the risk of becoming overweight or obese. So replace a bad habit with a good habit. And there's so many negative effects of smoking. So the major culprits and end problems are a cancer, COPD, emphysema, which people have all these exacerbations, and then the elasticity and recoil and all these negative things in the lungs, so they can't breathe. They can't have oxygen come in, carbon dioxide go out effectively. They can't aerate, and it's like being held underwater, gasping for air. So if people want oxygen as bad as they want to stop smoking, then they will stop smoking. They will quit. If you have a bad enough reason why you want to stop, then you can stop. Whether you want to stop for your own sake, or you want to stop because you want to be around for your grandkids or your spouse, or just watch your kids get married. I mean, just more of a selfless thing than whatever your why is. Let that kind of motivate you to stop. So again, get rid of all the paraphernalia, ashtrays, lighters, signage, and hat shirts, and make that date sometime within the next 30 days in the future. Write it down and do it. Believe in yourself. The physiological effects, just being anxious, maybe some heart palpitations, and just minimal side effects, are going to be gone within 10 days. And it's all psychological from there. So it's forming good habits, replacing the bad habits. So don't trade a bad habit for a bad habit. Think GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. Think PIPO, positive in, positive out. So put positive in, you're going to get positive out. And think assets and liabilities. Is it paying you in the realms of, say, health, wealth, love, and joy? I mean, if cigarettes are killing you and killing people around you, not being a good role model to all the people in your life, then maybe it's time to change and form more assets that pay you compound interest and build your health, wealth, love, and joyfulness in compounding manner. So when all those things are in synergy or working together, they're so much stronger together. So try not to neglect the things that you ought to do, and instead of saying, hey, I should or ought or woulda, coulda, shoulda done this or that, stop shoulding all over yourselves and make your shoulds a must, and you'll make it happen. So do it and don't look back. Live without regrets. And stop blaming, complaining, having self-pity, and stop criticizing, stop gossiping, stop all the nonsense that is not going to produce the intangibles in your life. Those intangibles are what matter. Forget about the tangible stuff. And yeah, you may have more money and whatever when you stop smoking. I don't think that's a motivating factor enough to stop, but whatever works for you. If you can build these intangible character traits of kindness, goodness, generosity, love, peace, gratitude, I mean, just be grateful. Write in a journal and write all the things you're grateful for each day. I mean, you can't be fearful and grateful at the same time. And just think of when people are smoking, they're taking these deep breaths, and that's minimizing anxiety. When people have anxiety, they're breathing shallow and a lot of times more fast. So people can do a 4-7-8 rule, whereas they exhale real fast, and then they inhale through their nose for 4 seconds, they hold it for 7 seconds, and they exhale for 8 seconds. Navy SEALs do this in combat, and it helps them stay calm. And just like our breathing is unconscious, but we can take conscious control over it. We have a subconscious and a conscious mind, so we have conditioned ourselves in whatever beliefs we have, and we can recondition how we think, what we believe, why we believe it, and we can make this happen. So the subconscious mind is so much faster than the conscious mind. The neurochemicals and the neurotransmitters and everything just are so much faster when we utilize the automatic mind. So it's basically having this conscious competence that transitions to unconscious or subconscious confidence and competence as well. So when we are able to recondition our minds, then we will be able to do the things and live them out so much more effectively, and they become us. So our thoughts, our words, our actions, our behaviors, the things we do every single day form our habits, rituals, or routines, and that is what builds a lifestyle, and it builds our lives. So architect and engineer your lives the way you want to live, and don't succumb to other people's desires and wants, because if you don't choose, somebody else will for you, and typically they don't have your best interest in mind. So do what you must do, and again, stop shooting all over yourself and start building a life that you're proud of and that you can be full of dignity, joy, and gratitude, and live your life. So I thank you for watching, and until next time, friends, be strong and live free on this side of Able.